Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Old School versus New School.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Nicole, what you up to these days?
You know me, working, working, working.
I got you working day and night.
Well, what an energetic Monday this is. How are you today?
I'm doing good. The day before Valentine's Day, you got a Valentine?
I don't celebrate pagan holidays.
Oh, geez. It's the love that count. We have to love one another and
Valentine's
be together.
Day
Love.
is the anniversary of a massacre.
I know
But
what it
we're
is.
gonna move on.
I know what it is. Just like Thanksgiving and all these other all these other
Ah.
crazy holidays, but you know.
The truth of the matter is, if you in love with somebody, every day's supposed to be special.
That's it. I agree with that. I agree with that. So, it's economics. They pick out days, make special so everybody can go running and spend money and so forth. It's an economic thing. So
Because let's just be real. The real Valentine's Day is happening the next day with the side pieces.
the real Valentine's Day is the 15th.
Right. It's really going down.
You know what? We should do a show about that.
And you know what? Look who just walked in the door as soon as we start talking about it. My good sister Star. You're going to have to come up here and be a special guest because it's going to be part two of the side pieces.
Right, exactly. Valentine's Day on February 15th.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we're gonna do that show. But we're gonna do this part two of this elder abuse because information has come to light and you called me about it and it's crazy. I don't know a lot about it. Maybe hopefully you can enlighten me a little bit on the info. But I have
Yeah.
I have heard of this thing, this for not new phenomenon, and it's very disturbing.
Yeah, so if you guys did not watch last week's episode, first of all, shame on you.
Shame,
Go
shame,
back, check
shame.
it out. But this week is a great follow up because last week we spoke about elder abuse, which is very prevalent. It's a huge issue. Um, and this week we are following it up with something that could possibly be, indirect cause of some of this breakdown in the healthcare system because they are selling fake nurses license. Last week we were really big on how you get trained and how you should become prepared in the workforce in the health field, right? And come to find out, they selling fake licenses.
Yeah, this is for me, Nicole, this is very, very disturbing because I wasn't aware of this until this past week. After we did the first show. Okay, after we did the part one. I'm never one to knock nobody's hustle. I'm all for the entrepreneur. I'm all for doing things. So we all need some time, two, three, four incomes to get by the way the economy is today. But to me, the healthcare industry, LPN, RNs, those kind of that's not a hustle to me. That's a lifetime commitment. That's not a hustle because you're dealing with people's lives, you're dealing with medicine, you're dealing with wellness, you're dealing with so many different families, healing, and that's not a hustle to me.
And
If you're not,
that's the thing right there though, is that's the sad part. It is a hustle to so many people.
and it shouldn't be because could you imagine being in a medical facility as someone who bought a license and not trained and a crisis jumps off and a person needs to be resuscitated or something like that? You have no idea what you're doing? Or
Most of them people can't even stomach it because I went to school for it. I've been in the health field since I've been in the ninth grade. I went to a high school that specialized in it. And when you get there, if your stomach can't take it, if your heart can't take it, your mind can't take it, you just in the way. You a liability.
mm, that is, yeah. The same thing with people who are learning, how to do autopsies and things like that. That's you got to have a very strong stomach, very strong stomach.
And
Um,
let's just be real though, Alex. Now, people might get mad about this, but this is facts. You know, most times the what do I want to call them? Because I don't want to call them the ideal couple. But it's not far fetched. Their nurses, boyfriends be the dope boy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm.
Because it's cleaning money, basically. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's a normal thing. But before we get into that, I do want to check out this video to get a few little side notes and some information out to you guys. So let's check out the video real quick and then we'll come right back.
Tonight, shocking allegations. $100 million scheme selling thousands of nursing diplomas, now called fake by federal prosecutors.
Our healthcare professionals play an important role in our public health system. We therefore expect our healthcare professionals to be who they claim they are.
More than 24 people, a group of school administrators and recruiters, have been accused in a wire fraud operation to sell phony nursing degrees, creating what prosecutors describe as a shortcut around educational requirements set by the state nursing boards.
They prepared and sold fake nursing school diplomas and transcripts to nursing candidates, knowing that the candidates would use those false documents to, one, sit for nursing board examinations.
The investigation, known as Operation Nightingale, feds issued warrants in 5 states and say that 3 schools were involved, all in Florida: Sacred Heart Institute, Siena College of Health, and Palm Beach School of Nursing. All 3 institutions have since shut down, so efforts to reach them were unsuccessful. But federal investigators allege between 2016 and 2021, more than 7,600 students obtained fake degrees, paying out about $15,000 each for a total of $114 million.
These allegedly fraudulent documents may have allowed nurses to serve in critical healthcare roles.
More disturbing, authorities estimate about a third of the people that received fake diplomas, or nearly 2,300 people, are actually practicing nursing right now.
We have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals potentially providing services to patients.
The DOJ says this isn't just about the training of those nurses involved, but the public's potential loss of trust in the healthcare industry.
When we take an injured son or daughter to a hospital emergency room, we don't expect, really cannot imagine, that the licensed practical nurse or registered nurse treating our child took a shortcut around educational and licensing requirements.
And Stephen Romo joins us now. Stephen, this is shocking and scary for a lot of people to think about this. Do we know what happens now to these nurses who got these fake diplomas and are working right now?
Yeah, that's the scary thing. They're working right now. The last things people want to think about is this nurse actually, do they have a degree? Well, the FBI says that the list of those people, some 2,300 of them, has been given to each state's boards, and it's up to them to decide what action to take against these nurses. Now, we reached out to the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, and they say that could include losing their licenses. But as for charges that are already announced, those are focused on the people who were allegedly running those schools and handing out those fake degrees.
Okay, so first, I want to start at the very end of that. Did you hear how he said it could result in them losing their license?
Right.
So they're not even really about to take too much energy to find these people.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and when he said the focus is on the people that's really running the scheme, okay, and because this is a trickle-down effect, TheeEnicole. This is what this is, okay? This is, first and foremost, people just being crooked and looking for a way to make money. That's number one. You always want to have crooks in society. And people trying to get over and finding ways to get over and doing this kind of thing. You know, the old days of running into a bank with a mask and a gun, those days are over. All you got to do now is break somebody's account, is press a button and steal all their money. Okay? So all this stuff is being done technologically now. This technology is not our friend in situations like this. So people are just going to be crooks regardless. But the other side of that is there are some of these organizations or training facilities that can't get the proper funding. Then there are people, mostly people of color, who can't get the proper opportunities a lot of times because they're of color. Okay, so it's a trickle down effect, and people are going to do whatever they got to do to make a dollar, to take care of their families, to do what needs to be done. Because the way they look at it, see, now they got all the attention in the world from the government, the FBI, everybody want to come in now. But when you need the help, honestly, nobody wants to come in and help you. Everybody got an excuse why they can't help you, or you just got to grind it out. Everybody looking for a handout. Work hard, go to school and work hard, which we all know is bullshit.
This is where I disagree with this method, though. Okay, so the people that are up top, okay, yes, it was wrong, but the other people, and I'm rubbing my top of my palm to see what color I am.
Okay.
The other people do this every day, all day. I feel like the first priority needs to be finding these nurses and getting them out of these hospitals and these nursing homes. Because my sister, she put a very good comment up, which is because they were too busy enforcing the Stop Woke Act I was about to say in Africa, y'all. This is how mad I am. In Florida. In Florida, they were so worried about this Stop Woke Act that you out here with fake degrees in all of these hospitals and nursing homes. Hey, CJ. Yeah. But y'all priorities is so messed up in the government, and we have to hold them accountable. Like, we're the ones who they owe us answers.
Listen, TheeEnicole, we live in a capitalistic society where the dollar is everything. Okay. The Super Bowl was last night, right? One of the quarterbacks, his name is Patrick Mahomes. I'm not sure if you watch football or not. Okay. We all know Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks playing today. Okay. Now, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 2 or 3 years ago, and they won again last night. But when they won their first Super Bowl a couple of years ago, they gave this man a contract for $500 million. The next season, $500 million to throw a football around. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take skill and he ain't got to be in shape or whatever, but it's to throw a football around.
Right.
Okay. But the damn teachers are underpaid. The nurses are underpaid. The priorities are screwed up.
The STNAs, shout out to the STNAs, because we cannot forget about them, because I told y'all last week, me being an STNA, we knew the most about those residents, cared the most, did the most work, and they are not getting paid what they are owed.
No. And that's the problem. This is why people resort to these kind of shenanigans, because they don't see equal and fair treatment across the board.
Right.
They just don't see it.
Meanwhile, we have to fight for shelters, for children, for homeless, for veterans. All of these things that need to be in place are not getting any type of funding. A lot of times when you do, you got to go through hoops, but they're dishing out money, just like you said, to throw a football or to sing a song on auto-tune when you can't do it by yourself.
Right, to bounce a basketball or whatever it may be.
And not to say that they don't deserve compensation. We're not saying that at all, because you know how people like to take little sound bites and run with it.
Right.
We just saying that this country's priorities are effed up completely.
Now, where was all this attention probably when people were trying to do things the legitimate way and go by the book? There was no attention.
I don't know when they ever did go by the book. Did they do that?
But now they so far left. They so far crooked now. It's on the news. The FBI is involved. Everybody's involved now because now they're doing something to survive or just to be crooked or just to make money or whatever it is. Now it's getting all this attention when it should have been had this attention.
But I feel like it's only getting the attention because now it's messing with their money. You know what I mean? Because if you have these nurses, well, these faux nurses, I'm calling them faux nurses, y'all. So these faux nurses are here, right? They messing up things. They're jeopardizing people's life. And I'm sure they have brought early demises to people where it could have been stopped. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's lawsuits coming. I'm sure now, you know, the questions are being asked. But if they weren't affecting their money, I'm sure they would be doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you this too.
Mhm.
I'm afraid
Hey, Chris.
because there's so many nurses now that we'll find out that just don't know what the hell they're doing and people's lives are at stake. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of backlash. It's going to be a lot of lawsuits. It's going to be a lot of that stuff that's going to come because families are going to say, this person been taking care of my loved one and they're not even licensed.
Right.
You know, and so there's going to be a heavy backlash coming from that. So they're going to look to protect themselves. I'm talking about the city, the state,
Right.
the institutions. They're going to look to protect themselves because
Well,
they know
I don't know,
backlash
because
is
he
coming.
was not convincing. He said if. And then you know what else is on my mind? Is what about those nurses who do have connections with other people in the hospital? You know what I mean? Because you know, nursing, most of the time you stay a nurse until you retire. You don't like it's not a McDonald's job. You don't stay there. You get tired there, you go to another job. Most of the time, nurses stay nurses. So what about the nurses with these fake degrees who knew somebody, had some connections, and became a DON somewhere or something?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. But you know what? I'm going to say something that's going to be against a lot of popular opinions. And this should be a wake-up call to people to step away from all of these pills and these prescriptions and move toward healthy living, eating right, knowing what your herbs do for you, that the healing agents that are already naturally on this earth.
Mm-hmm. And we spoke about that last week, living a better lifestyle.
They
you know
probably
what I mean?
care
more,
for
more healthy.
That's
What Madam Oracle is saying.
Yeah.
You know, because it also thing that's very disturbing. These people have access to all these medications, man.
Right.
They got access to stuff like succinylcholine. You know what succinylcholine does? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To have access to something like that, and people have gotten rid of their spouses by giving them a shot of sucks.
Yeah. It's also going on in Georgia too as well, CJ.
Mm-hmm. You know, so when they got access to morphine, Demerol, and all this other kind of stuff, and they're not even licensed. And like you said, you know, a lot of these young lady boyfriends or dealers, they're slipping them these drugs.
Yeah, and the wrong dosage, the wrong combination is deadly.
That's what
Just
I'm
like
saying.
you said.
Yep. If they don't know what the hell they doing, it's gonna cost lives. You know what I mean? So they're getting the check.
Georgia started the investigation and it led to Florida. Yes, correct.
It's going to be nationwide soon.
Yeah, I'm sure, because mind you, now let's think about this, right? So this has been going on. Yes, Chris, living a better, healthy life. We have to do it. Don't worry, coming soon, guys. Everything that I talk about, I don't just talk about it. We're going to put action behind it, but I'll digress for 1 second. You got to think about these nurses. So we just got out of this C-19 thing, correct?
Yep.
So at this time, nursing was so low. Nurses were traveling all over the place, y'all. Nurses were everywhere because of the demand of nursing. So just let that sink in for a minute. So it's not just Florida and Georgia. It has to be a worldwide. I mean, you know, our country it need to be a sweep of all the states because we were everywhere with that. You know what I'm saying?
And
he's talking about if.
And I spoke the last podcast, and we did the first part of this. I spoke about having a program where you have a residency program for these trainees and things of that nature, much like you do with the doctors, right? So what is this? A kind of warped form of residency? Just let them work there, give them the certificates or the diplomas, and let them work from the inside out. You know, I didn't mean it like that. That's backwards. You know what I mean? So
this should show and prove what we spoke about last week when I told y'all the healthcare system is not to keep us alive. Our healthcare system is not here with our best interests. So I need people to get it together. I'm going to stop saying wake up, because if you're going to just be asleep, just stay asleep, please. But for the people who care, we have to get together and do something about it. This is our lives at stake at this point. You know what I mean?
They'll keep you alive for as long as they can milk the insurance, as long as they can milk the medications, as long as they can do all that. And when you're so sick and tired and body can't take it no more, then they let you pass on and they collect insurance on you. So it's all money, 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 money. That's all it is. Capitalism. Okay, we spoke about how on our birth certificates we all have registration numbers on our birth certificates, and we got social security numbers and all that. The
That are
government
linked to stocks. You can call the stocks and give them that number on your social security card. Now we getting into Patreon conversation right here. We got the
yeah. I mean, let me leave that alone because
they don't want us talking about that on the YouTubes.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's like.
But it's real out here.
It is. You know, and my mother went through the nursing home system for about a year, about 11 months and so forth. And, you know, to this day, I don't know what they did. I got a call that she had passed on, whatever, and whatever money she had left, we never got nothing. I don't know what went on.
Hey, Black Gold.
You know, so it's and people always say, oh, the system is broken, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken. No, it was built this way. It's not broken. It's built by capitalists for this very purpose. You know
how I feel about that, though?
Tell me.
People sitting around talking about it's broken. Get out here and help fix it. Stop talking about it. Get out here and help fix it. You know what I'm saying? Because let me go back for just a second on what you just brought up about the birth certificates and the social security cards.
Patreon, don't forget.
I ain't gonna go too deep.
Okay.
But these single mothers out here, like, y'all need to know that y'all need to go and get full custody of your children. Like, some people I know just found, like, they didn't know that you don't even have full custody of your child. That's why, like, if you go for child support or say it's just an issue with your kids and stuff like that, or somebody calls CPS on you or something, that's why they have the right to come in and do those things, because you are the custodial parent. That just means you're the parent that has the child most often, but you have to go and file for full custody. Like, it's so many laws and rules and games that they play that we need to wake up and go make sure that you have the right handle on it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think people ever realize how much power that we actually have. You know, it's like, you know, since this C-19 thing has gone down, you know, we all know what food prices have done. Food prices have gotten ridiculous. The eggs are ridiculous. Everything's ridiculous, right? And all people have to do is stop buying certain shit. Right. Don't buy it. Put their ass out of business.
Right. Okay. Which go back to what we just said. You need to find out these herbs that heal you. You know what I just thought about yesterday was, we're supposed to eat to survive.
Right.
But people just go, not to say that you shouldn't enjoy your food and stuff like that, but the things that we're eating and drinking is slowly killing us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We should eat to live, not live to eat.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the phrase right there. For the people that's coming in, because I see a lot of people coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to play this video for you one more time to show you what we guys are talking about. Is that okay, Alex?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let me get this video. Here we go.
Tonight, shocking allegations. $100 million scheme selling thousands of nursing diplomas, now called fake by federal prosecutors.
Our healthcare professionals play an important role in our public health system. We therefore expect our healthcare professionals to be who they claim they are.
More than 24 people, a group of school administrators and recruiters, have been accused in a wire fraud operation to sell phony nursing degrees, creating what prosecutors describe as a shortcut around educational requirements set by the state nursing boards.
They prepared and sold fake nursing school diplomas and transcripts to nursing candidates, knowing that the candidates would use those false documents to, one, sit for nursing board examinations.
The investigation, known as Operation Nightingale, feds issued warrants in 5 states and say that 3 schools were involved, all in Florida: Sacred Heart Institute, Siena College of Health, and Palm Beach School of Nursing. All three institutions have since shut down, so efforts to reach them were unsuccessful. But federal investigators allege between 2016 and 2021, more than 7,600 students obtained fake degrees, paying out about $15,000 each for a total of $114 million.
These allegedly fraudulent documents may have allowed nurses to serve in critical healthcare roles.
More disturbing, authorities estimate about a third of the people that received fake diplomas, or nearly 2,300 people, are actually practicing nursing right now.
We have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals potentially providing services to patients.
The DOJ says this isn't just about the training of those nurses involved, but the public's potential loss of trust in the healthcare industry.
When we take an injured son or daughter to a hospital emergency room, we don't expect, really cannot imagine, that the licensed practical nurse or registered nurse treating our child took a shortcut around educational and licensing requirements.
And Stephen Romo joins us now. Stephen, this is shocking and scary for a lot of people to think about this. Do we know what happens now to these nurses who got these fake diplomas and are working right now?
Yeah, that's the scary thing. They're working right now. The last things people want to think about is this nurse actually, do they have a degree? Well, the FBI says that the list of those people, some 2,300 of them, has been given to each state's boards, and it's up to them to decide what action to take against these nurses. Now, we reached out to the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, and they say that could include losing their licenses. But as for charges that are already announced, those are focused on the people who were allegedly running those schools and handing out those fake degrees.
So again, he said only about 2,300. That's not even a fraction of the people who got these fake licenses.
$114 million scheme. Now, if that's not capitalism, what is?
Right.
It's always about the money. You know, something Chris Rock said, and it was funny because some jobs you just can't afford to have a bad day. You know, and it's like if you're an airline pilot and the airport says, well, most of our pilots are very, very good, excellent. Just every now and then a few of them like to crash into mountains. You're not going to fly that airport. You're not going to fly that airline. Okay, you just can't afford to have a bad day when you're a pilot. You can't afford to have a bad day when you're a police officer carrying a gun and you're in charge of protecting the community and you're a racist or a bigot. You know, you shouldn't be having bad days. You shouldn't even take the oath, which is all hypocritical. Okay, the Hippocratic oath or the serve and protect is all hypocrisy. Because none of them believe nothing of what they say. Maybe a few. I'm not going to say everybody don't believe that. But there's so many bad apples that it breeds stuff like this, TheeEnicole. It breeds this kind of stuff because there is such hypocrisy in these industries that's supposed to be respected.
Yeah.
And the individuals make a mockery of it. I'm talking about the individuals in high places that make a mockery of it. So those of us that are regular workers or nurses or whatever, we're tired of that. So now we're in survival mode because if you don't have the support of the people running the institutions, of the highest government level officials, if you don't have their support and their backing and their leadership, you're going to do what you got to do to survive. And this is what we're seeing.
I want to ask the chat how they feel about things, but I'm gonna let it sink in for a second. I'm gonna play a quick commercial, and then I really want to know what you guys think in the chat. We have quite a few people in the chat. I want to know what you guys think about this. I really want to know you guys' opinion. So let me hit this commercial, pay a couple bills, and be right back.
CJ, Niecy, TheeEnicole. Woo, woo, woo. Just chillin'. You ain't on my mind, you need to get out your feelings. Oh, baby, oh. I ain't thought about you since the last time we talked. You lucky I got fuck around, be outlined. You can't deal with a woman with big dick. You don't even hold enough weight to be my type of bitch leave you. I ain't taking shit back. I said what I said. I kept it real with you all the way. For all the games you play. No, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. For you there is no tomorrow. I have no more fucks to give. To get out, I have to borrow. I don't do that. I bounce up on shit, but you knew that. That's why you missed the kid. I know. Decompression. I will never stress again. I have learned my lesson, and I will never again waste my time on shit that's less than. I'm decompressing. Decompression.
All right, and we are back.
Yeah, back in the house.
Chris says, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay, and that is like figurative and literal, is it not?
Exactly. We're talking about an industry that preys on the sick. So
yes.
There you go. You know.
And it's so sad because speaking of capitalism, capitalism, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, is for the people with the capital, correct?
That's it.
So that means the people that do not have the income or the resources to get this private care of the correctly licensed people are the only ones in attack with these fake licenses, you all.
Mm-hmm. Right now, it's dog eat dog, do or die, survival mode for those of us who really do care and want to work in these industries, but don't get the support and the backing that we need. They rather pay people hundreds of millions of dollars to bounce a basketball, throw a baseball, or throw a football, or whatever the case is. And again, we're not saying those people don't deserve their money, because there's expertise in all fields. But we have to put more focus in the medical industry, in the educational realm. Pay these teachers, man. Pay these medical professionals to do what they do. Reinforce the Hippocratic Oath and those things. Because otherwise, you're going to continue to have chaos like we're dealing with today.
Everyone needs to read, study on medical science. Lots of things can be handled at home. Yep, that's what I was just saying. Like, look into these herbs. It's a reason why Dr. Sabi's not here anymore. And that's where I'm going to end that sentence.
Right.
But message. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, it's a reason. And I want to just go back to healthcare by itself, right? Because let's just be real. A lot of these nurses, they didn't just go straight to these nursing homes now. They in these hospitals, in these facilities, in these clinics. Think about all the different departments of health. Okay, you have babies, you have eyes, you have sexual health. Like, there's so many departments that they're ducked off into now at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not just sitting at some desk doing nothing. They're very, very in close proximity to life and death.
Every day. Every day. And when you're dealing with something like that, specifically when you're dealing with, the panorama, like we've been dealing with the last 3 years now, okay, that is really not gone. We like to think it's gone, but it's not, okay? When you're dealing with something like that, it weighs so heavily on the workers because the hours get longer. They're exposed to the illnesses every day, all day. The risk of taking it back home to your family and your children. Think about that, TheeEnicole.
Yeah.
You're going into a facility every day where the sick people are.
To go pretend, that's crazy to me. To go pretend. They going to play nurse and doctor like the preschoolers. Seriously.
Right. Like little boys and girls. We're going to play doctor today. You're the doctor. I'm the nurse. That's what it's like.
No, that's what it is. That is literally what it is. That's crazy. He's Black Gold says organ harvesting is a new. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
killed and destroyed, making a lot of money along the way. Yes, it is.
I think a lot of these people that are disappearing has a lot to do, not just with trafficking, but organ harvesting, which has been around almost as long as trafficking.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it has to do with that. And a lot of it has to do with people who don't even put on their driver's license, I'm an organ donor. Even if you say no, they'll still take your damn organs and put
right, because I definitely said no. No, not at all.
They'll still take your organs and put pipes and stuff inside of you. They take your bones and everything and put pipes inside of you to hold you together just for your service. Okay,
that's crazy.
So it's really, really. I don't know why mankind is like this. Why human beings are like this. You know, there's something inherently evil about people who are in high elitist leadership positions because they think we're all expendable.
Well, we know why, but that's just another show.
Yeah, I know.
That's a whole another show.
we know why. I'm just trying to plant the seeds. You feel me?
Yes. You know? And we're going to water it over on Patreon, you guys.
Right. You know, but there should be no reason why an untrained medical person should be inside a medical facility, you know, caretaking and over other people without the proper training. There's no way. Doesn't make any sense to me.
If one nurse is carrying a heavy workload and starting to experience signs of burnout, another nurse can step in and offer support.
What if she's burned out?
And this is the thing. He brought up a very important point, though, because number one, if you're not going in there with the right intentions, the right heart, you know what I'm saying, let alone the right training, you're going to get burnt out fast because who irritates you the most? Somebody you don't care about. So if you in these facilities and you don't care about the job, you just waiting for your check, lunchtime, and punch out time, everybody in there is going to get on your nerves and overwhelm you because you're going to the hospital or a nursing home because you have a problem. You're not going there to grab a drink, buy some shots. You know what I mean? You're going in there because you have a problem. And most times you don't know what the problem is. So your brain and your emotions are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So that is a very good point that he brought up because it's like, not only are you not getting the care that you need because they don't know what to do for you, you can never get the care that you deserve because they don't care.
But what if also on the flip side of that, what if you're a professional, medical professional, a nurse, LPN, like you say, you're an STNA, these kind of things, and your heart is really in the right place. You care about people. You want to help.
You're going to get burnt out too.
Are you going to get burned out? But also, what if you don't have the backup from the administrative party of the hospital? What if all they care about is how much money the facility is bringing in?
I've lived it.
They don't care how much you care about the patient.
Yes, Alex, I've lived it. I spoke a little bit about this last week. I've lived this where an incident happened or I don't agree with it. Now, of course, I told the person, but then I have to write a report because I'm responsible for this person too. And I let the DON know what's going on. Nothing happens. Eventually, they start acting funny towards you. Yeah. Because you are calling them out on what is not being done correctly. But you thinking, I went to school for this. I started these classes because I cared. I wanted to make a difference. And then you get in that world and you see that all around you, nobody cares. That's a whole nother psychological blow. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all last week, I'll never be an SDNA again. Like, I still care, of course. I know that I'm going to go through other avenues, but being in that field and being one of the few that actually care is hard as well.
Okay.
For the nurses, doctors, and STNAs all alike, you know what I'm saying? Because there are good doctors, good nurses, but is that fair to them to be paired up with somebody who, unbeknownst to them, got a degree from Toys R Us?
Well, let me ask you this to you, TheeEnicole, because you was a professional in that industry for a long time. We might have some people in the chat who are professionals in that industry. We've been talking about the problem, now for over 40 minutes. Okay. What would you give as far as a solution? What jumps out at you as far as a solution?
Starting our own facilities. Okay, so one thing, in order to have a home healthcare business, all you need to start it is a license. Hopefully you have a correct license. Okay, I'm talking about people with legit licenses here, people. You need a registered nurse and an STNA. That's all you need to start a home healthcare business.
Don't say all, because you make it sound so easy. Like anybody can just walk off the street and do this,
If they have the license, you have a registered nurse and you have a STNA, that's all you need to start it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am speaking of people with, accredited licenses, of course.
But then if you want the business to grow, because 2 people, 3 people not going to be able to take care of 50
Yeah,
people.
but I mean, you said solution. So me, with my solutions is starting somewhere.
Okay.
You start the business, then you can get to hiring people.
Right.
But my thing is, solution is the time for talking is over with. We saw on that clip, they said this is gone all the way back to 2016. So this was even before C-19.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep.
The solution is action. The talking is over with.
And it's $114 million business up to this point. And I'm pretty sure that number is not accurate. It's probably more than that. Because there's so much money.
I'm speaking of where I live at.
There's so much money in that industry that it's just crazy.
Definitely look into where you live and what the qualifications are in your respective states and stuff like that. But my solution is action. My solution always going to be action. We're done having meetings. We're done talking about things. You know what I mean? Because that's why they don't take us serious. That's why nothing has happened, because all people are doing is sitting around talking about things. And if you don't have the education, reach out, look around, see who has nonprofits, see who has organizations that are trying to do community research, outreach, and support them. They need help. The people who really care need help.
And this is not a deterrent, TheeEnicole. We just know that this exists. Okay. Mm-hmm. The more of us, and I'm rubbing the back of my hand, just like you said.
Yes, the complexion.
The more of us decide to start opening medical facilities or decide to build a hospital, the powers that be, here come the opposition. They're going to start changing rules and making things difficult. We've seen this over and over and over again. And that's not to say let's not do it. That's just to say what to expect.
And stay on top of your game. Because if you're doing the right thing, they can come and search and look in and do whatever they want to. Because let's just be real. How many people with a salon or a nail shop, and on the day, the whole, like when I was in hair school, the whole school knew, oh, hey, y'all, the health department on the way. The state board coming today. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you would do what you're supposed to do every day and walk in there like it's your career and not your job, message, walk in there like it's your career, then you would be doing the right things and doing the state protocols every day. So it didn't matter when state board come, you're prepared. Yeah, that's the problem. We take too many shortcuts and we just be lazy and doing whatever, so that when they do decide to come through with some new rules and stuff, we're not prepared because we're not doing what we're supposed to do every day.
Yeah, that's like working at the hospital. That's like working at a restaurant or something like that. And all of a sudden people go,
same thing. Yes.
Here come the health inspectors. Now you want to clean the kitchen. Now you want to put clean grease in the bins and all that.
Right.
You should have been doing that. Why you got to wait for the health inspector to be coming? So it's that kind of stuff where people really have to, and that's the hard thing to monitor, TheeEnicole. That's what I'm getting at. It's hard to monitor what people's integrity is worth. Are their integrity for sale? Are their morals for sale?
Right.
Because we know a lot of times it is for sale.
Yeah.
Because you're going there with a great heart, right? It's like being in politics. You go in there with a great heart, intending to do the right thing, and then the big shots, the administrators, the ones who already been there, they'll say, "Oh, you're wonderful. You got a lot of talent, but let's come in here and we're going to indoctrinate you."
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to make you one of us.
I think Black Gold's comment is going right along with what you're saying. He said, "King and peasant mentality, process and control equals unequivocally and total power of humans." Exactly what you just said. It's crazy.
There it is. You know.
So it's like we need the people that are willing to stand. Basically, we're not talking to you followers, okay? No disrespect. We love everyone, but we're talking to the leaders right now. You know what I'm saying? Because being a leader is a lonely life.
Yeah.
Having the opinions that I have, I get in many debates, as y'all see. So just imagine the debates I'm in that y'all don't see. Like, listen, if you stand for something and fall for nothing, you're going to be standing alone most times. And you got to be strong enough for that.
And you know what? And there's a lot of athletes right now. There's a famous basketball player. His name is Dikembe Mutombo. He's retired now. He was an African player, one of the greatest players that ever played in the NBA. He specialized in shot blocking. Anybody that knows basketball, okay?
If y'all don't know who he's talking about, he the man on the commercial that says, "Not today."
Yeah, that's the one. Not today. He be wagging his finger all the time, right? So
not in my house.
Not in my house, right? So when his mom was dying, she could not get the treatment he felt she should get because they didn't have certain amounts of money at the time, and this, and that. He was on his way up in his career. He didn't have those big contracts yet.
Wow.
So what he did was, later in his career, he started putting money aside and getting partnerships, and he built the hospital in his mother's name.
Exactly.
Okay.
Action. He didn't cry about it for the rest of his life. He took action.
I believe Akon is doing the same thing. Okay, building a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got to take control of those kind of things so we're not at the mercy of certain kinds of other people who just looking at us as a piece of meat that they can make money off of and use us up, and then we're disposable.
Yeah. The higher up on the flagpole you go, the more
your a-hole will be exposed.
I was trying to make sure I was reading it right.
with no Vaseline.
I will be protecting that area. Thank you.
No KY jelly. Raw dog, dry.
And it's crazy that it is that way, but I think that's one thing that I like to share over here on this channel. Like, don't be afraid over here, because I'm with all the integrity. Like, let's do something. Like, don't be scared. I feel like a lot of people want to make change, but they're afraid because, we know what happens to leaders.
Yep.
We know what happens to people who push for the right thing. We know, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's intended to instill fear in you so you don't make a difference.
Right. But you're not alone.
Right.
It's very many people who are like-minded with you. So I'm here to let it be known you're welcome over here. Let's do something about it. I don't want to have any more conversations about this stuff. Let's start planning the solutions.
And before we leave here tonight, TheeEnicole, one thing I want to say is I'm really not trying to be disrespectful to hospital administrators and the leadership in the medical industry, because I know there's some of them who really want to and are trying to do the right thing, but the opposition is powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just want them to understand that we know, okay? We know a lot of y'all are fucked up, that y'all are crooks, that y'all are doing this just for money. Yeah. You know, that people are expendable to y'all. They're nothing but dollar signs. We know. Just like we know that there are a lot of them that are trying to do the right thing, but they're up against a machine. They're up against a monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just wanted to make that statement before we get out of here.
That's very true. And I'm going to just end it with this. I'm just going to reiterate. That's why you need to start taking care of yourself at home so that you can eliminate, not that you won't ever need to go to a facility or a hospital or something like that, but if you take care of yourself, it prolongs that trip that you're going to have to take. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't die a painful, horrible death. No. You know what I mean? No. Like, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of your family, your friends. Get healthy. Stop eating these microwave meals. Learn how to cook. And anything. Learn how to boil something other than a hot dog.
Right.
Like, come on. Mm-hmm. You so worried about a man and a bag and what he can bring to the table, and you can't even make this man a meal. You so worried about your hair and your nails and your kids eating McDonald's every day. Our priorities need to be rearranged immediately. Y'all can come over to my house later. Sister, are you letting me know that you're going live? You guys, there's some great content creators in here. Y'all know how I feel about support over here. Make sure that you guys check out my co-host, Magnetic Repellant. He stands alone. He's great over here, but he stands alone as well, and he has great content for you guys. Make sure that y'all go over to Magnetic Repellant, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and check out the things that he has to talk about. And also my sister that is right here on the screen, Madam Oracle, has great content as well. She's on the same wavelength as me, and she gives a lot of information about different laws and regulations and things that are coming up around here. Now, I'm not saying to just rely on us to be giving y'all information. You guys need to start finding out what's going on in your cities and your states as well, because at the end of the day, it affects you and the people around you.
And a quick question. Did Madam Oracle mean to spell come that way?
Yes, she did. I'm going to tell you, as being her little sister, she meant that. She meant that, and she stands on that.
Okay. We'll leave that where it's at.
But you guys, this stuff is really serious. We have a great episode lined up for you guys next week. So make sure that if you have not hit that like button, if you not hit that subscribe, make sure that you do. We'll be here same time, same place next week. And I hope that you all have a great, productive, blessed, safe week. I guess Alex don't want to tell you.
I'm here. No, yeah, I'm good. All right. I thought you were going to close, but love y'all. Have a great week. And we out of here.